Annunziata D'Amico, October 10, 2015. Naples, Italy. The Ponticelli district is the setting for the end of Annunziata D'Amico. She is acting head of the D'Amico clan and is known in archival records as Passaguai. D'Amico exits her apartment building and walks toward her parked vehicle in a public area. A motorcycle carrying two unidentified individuals approaches. The pillion passenger draws a 9mm firearm and discharges multiple rounds at close range. D'Amico is struck in the chest and head. The perpetrators accelerate and flee the scene immediately. There is no resistance from bystanders during the event. Emergency medical services arrive to find D'Amico lying on the pavement. She exhibits no vital signs and is pronounced dead at the scene. Forensic investigators recover several shell casings and document the trajectory of the fatal wounds. The hit is attributed to a territorial dispute with the rival D'Amico clan. The case file remains a primary record of Camorra violence in the 21st century. Virginia Hill, March 24, 1966. Kappel, Austria. Virginia Hill is a former associate of the Chicago outfit and Bugsy Siegel. She has lived in European exile for several years to avoid federal tax evasion charges in the United States. She is currently residing in a small mountain village near Salzburg. Hill's body is discovered by a passerby in a deep snowbank near a remote mountain trail. She is 49 years old. A handwritten suicide note is recovered near her person. Forensic analysis confirms she ingested a lethal quantity of sleeping pills. The extreme cold temperatures of the Austrian Alps contributed to her death. An autopsy confirms the cause of death as a drug overdose. No evidence of foul play is found by the local authorities. Her remains are interred in a local cemetery in Salzburg. This marks the quiet end of a high-profile mob associate's life. Phoolan Devi, July 25, 2001. 44 Ashoka Road, New Delhi. Phoolan Devi is a sitting member of parliament and a former gang leader known as the Bandit Queen. She arrives at the gates of her official residence after a morning session. The setting is high security but vulnerable to sudden attack. 3 masked gunmen wait near the entrance. They open fire as she exits her vehicle. Devi is struck by 5 bullets. 2 rounds enter her head at close range. Her bodyguard is also wounded during the exchange of gunfire. The attackers flee the scene in a green vehicle. Devi is rushed to a nearby hospital but is pronounced dead on arrival. She is 37 years old. The attackers are later identified as members of a rival faction seeking retribution for historical events. Forensic evidence confirms the fatal nature of the cranial wounds. Her death remains a significant archival entry in Indian criminal history. Sister Ping, April 24, 2014. FMC Carswell, Texas. Cheng Choi Ping is the leader of a massive human smuggling operation in New York's Chinatown. She is known as the mother of all snakeheads. She is serving a 35-year federal prison sentence for her role in the Golden Venture disaster. Her health deteriorates significantly due to an aggressive form of pancreatic cancer. She is transferred to the Federal Medical Center for specialized care. During her final months, her weight drops severely. Her liver and kidneys begin to fail as the malignancy spreads through her vital organs. Ping is pronounced dead in the medical ward. She is 65 years old. Her body is released to her family for a large funeral in New York. Thousands of people attend the ceremony. The smuggling network she built was effectively dismantled by her death. This is the factual end of her archival record. Claudia Ochoa Felix, September 14, 2019. Culiacan, Mexico. Claudia Ochoa Felix is found in a private residence in the Isla Musala neighborhood. She is 35 years old. Her body is discovered in a bed by an associate during the late afternoon hours. Emergency responders confirm her death at the scene. Initial reports suggest a pulmonary aspiration caused by a suspected drug overdose. Forensic teams collect evidence from the room, noting the presence of various substances. The medical examiner conducts an autopsy to determine the biological cause of the respiratory failure. No signs of physical struggle are documented by investigators. The final autopsy report confirms the cause of death as accidental asphyxiation. Her lungs were unable to process oxygen due to chemical interference. Her death ends years of speculation regarding her active leadership role. The Sinaloa State Prosecutor's Office officially closes the investigation. Ma Barker, January 16, 1935. Lake Weir, Florida. Federal agents surround a small cottage. Inside are Kate Ma Barker and her son, Fred. Ma Barker is the matriarch of the Barker Carpus gang. She is 61 years old. The FBI has tracked the group following a series of kidnappings and robberies. A standoff begins at approximately 5:30 a.m. in the morning. A 4-hour gun battle ensues. Over 2,000 rounds of ammunition are exchanged. Agents deploy tear gas to flush out the occupants. When federal officers eventually enter the premises, they find Ma Barker lying in a bedroom. She is holding a Thompson submachine gun. She has been struck multiple times by high-caliber bullets. Her biological vital signs are entirely absent. Forensic photographs document the extensive damage to the cottage and the bodies. Ma Barker suffered a fatal wound to the head. The FBI declares the threat neutralized. Director J. Edgar Hoover uses the archive to justify the expansion of federal law enforcement powers. Bonnie Parker, May 23, 1934. Bayonville Parish, Louisiana. A law enforcement posse led by Frank Hamer conceals themselves behind heavy brush on a rural road. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow approach in a stolen Ford V8. Bonnie is 23 years old. The posse opens fire without a verbal warning to prevent an escape. Approximately 130 rounds are fired into the vehicle in less than 2 minutes. Bonnie Parker is struck 26 times. The projectiles penetrate the car's steel frame and the occupants. Forensic records indicate massive trauma to her head, chest, and limbs. Her body is slumped in the passenger seat as the car rolls into a ditch. Death is confirmed at the scene. The vehicle is towed to a nearby town with the bodies inside. A massive crowd gathers to witness the forensic aftermath. An autopsy details the specific trajectory of the high-velocity rounds. Bonnie Parker is interred at Crown Hill Cemetery in Dallas. Griselda Blanco, September 3, 2012. Medellin, Colombia. Griselda Blanco, known as the godmother of cocaine, is at a local butcher shop. She is 69 years old. Since her 2004 deportation from the United States, she has lived in relative obscurity. As she exits the shop with her daughter-in-law, a motorcycle carrying 2 men stops at the curb. The pillion passenger dismounts and approaches Blanco. He discharges a firearm twice. 2 bullets enter her head at close range. She collapses onto the pavement. The attackers flee into the Medellin traffic. Forensic evidence is minimal at the crime scene. Law enforcement arrives later. Blanco is transported to a hospital but shows no signs of life. The medical report confirms death due to severe cranial trauma.